Welcome to the 2026 tackle cleanup. Hey, it's Hobbies Fishing, and with the new season right around the corner, was the boat build coming along shortly, and it's gonna be warm this week, warm rain, like fingers crossed. I wanna start organizing my tackle for the year because the biggest change is now that I have the boat, the ways that I'm gonna organize all my tackle completely changes. Because before I used to keep it here in the apartment, take out what I need for my small boat, but now I have a lot more storage afforded to me. So taking all this tackle that I have and we're gonna organize it. And I also got some new boxes and stuff, so I'll show you kind of my process for how I break things down, show you what I have in my tackle boxes. This will be a good time to kind of review some tackle that I own as well. So hopefully you can learn something from this. I don't even know how we're gonna start this, but I don't know what the best way to do this is gonna be, but we're about to find out. So these boxes are from Cube. They're a modular milk crate. So they're milk crates that designed to hold these boxes. So as you can see, a lot of my tackle on the inflatable was in these because I was sitting on them throughout the year and it really worked really well in that setup. But I do want to move everything into some classic tackle boxes, something that I can look at. So we're gonna reorganize these. However, this is my terminal tackle box, and this one was probably the most helpful because each of these boxes come out on their own. So we're gonna also organize tackle throughout the day, put that in there. I'm notoriously bad at putting away soft plastics without the hooks in them. So I have probably a bunch of soft plastics with hooks in them. So I'm gonna have to go through, take those out, put them back in the box so I'm ready to go for this season. However, before we get into that, let me show you what I got. I did a little bit of shopping. I was at the Kittery Trading Post. Here's a little clip. Every time I come here, this is the first thing I come to. This is their bargain bin. You get some fishing line for good deals. I comb through this thing every time I come by. And if you haven't been to the Kittery Trading Post in New England, I think it is truly one of the best outdoor shops. Every time we're near there, it's not too far of a drive from where I am in Massachusetts, so I'm there all the time. If you ever make a trip out there, they're the best. So let's start with a little bit of a haul of what I got. Big thing was this box. This is the Plano Edge hanging tackle box in the smaller size. I fish a lot of spinnerbaits, so these will be great for my spinnerbaits, but also I'm thinking of throwing in jerkbaits in here as well, just because I fish a lot of jerkbaits as well, but this will be a nice tackle box for organizing all of that stuff. Really nice deal. I got a 4-pack of the stowaways. Honestly, like, for 4 of these, this was how much? 30 bucks for 4 of them, so crazy good deal on these. And I really like the Plano stuff. Like, yes, of course, I have so many of these like cheaper Planos, and yes, these will do the job. And as you can see, I've used these for quite some time. I beat the crap out of them, but they still work well. So it's that by no means that you have to go buy the nicer stuff, but the stowaway like these, they have one more nicer version of this that's waterproof. You know, if you have the money, go for it. I don't, as much as I love spending money on tackle gear, like I'd rather have the same boxes than a bunch of random ones, I guess is the way I see it. So they had these in a 4-pack. I bought the 4-pack. What else am I gonna do, right? These are 3,700 size. Big plus of these is I can write what's in the tackle box. So when I have them sitting in the boat like that, oh, I should have gotten more. These are sick. I can see exactly what's in them. Got a little Sharpie ready to write. So I got some of those. I also picked up, if you don't know, the Sluggos from Lunker City. Like, these are some crazy good baits. I usually use them for striper fishing, but they make really great soft jerk baits. And then I also picked up the Yozuri Pro Series Glide. I get rods, and I do rods with Witch Doctor's Tackle, but they also sponsor Cole Sand, who's on the Bassmaster Elite Series. He's a Yozuri Pro. So we've talked a lot about Yozuri stuff, and I'm actually really excited to try out this glide bait. They're like 20 something bucks. So maybe this becomes my starter / cheaper glide bait recommendation for everyone. I guess we're just gonna start. I'm gonna open up this box and have this ready because I know where some of my spinner baits are, and I actually have this whole shelf back here that you probably can't see in the light that I need to I have so much gear in this shelf that I need to organize from last year, and I just have not had the chance. I've got jerk baits. I've got so many jerk baits in here. So I've got some of these Shimano Swaggy Strongs. Nice little spinnerbaits. They look pretty compact. I think actually most of my spinnerbaits are usually this. I don't fish heavy spinnerbaits that often, but these look like pretty sweet spinnerbaits if you ask me. Really nice skirt. Really excited to try this. This is a 3/8 ounce. I'm actually gonna write 3/8 ounce with a Sharpie on here just so I know what I'm fishing later. That's a really good habit to do on the belly like that, so you know what you're fishing. It'll come off at some point, but. So with these panels, that should just drop in like that. I also got some of these. If you know, I love the Double H Junior from the South Korean company, Double H. The Double H Mirror was my favorite glide bait from Korea. And I got in touch with the owner and they sent me a bunch of stuff. And last year they also sent me some of their spinner baits. So I've got their spinner baits too. That's another 3/8 ounce. So maybe we'll keep the 3/8 ounce together. And I also want to put my jerk baits in here. So I've got some jerk baits to throw in there. This is a special edition Yodi Vision 110. That one will save in the box. But also, this is why I love Kittery. Look at these. I got these a while back. Look at the deal I got on those. Look at the deal. I got these jerk baits at $5 a pop. These are dual hardcores, and Dual is a really good brand. Got some nice jerk baits in there. So they're 110 size too. So they're just like the Vision 110s. I fished them a little bit last year. They fish pretty good. They suspend pretty good, which is all good things. So the jerk bait just clips in like that. So I can put 4 jerk baits in a panel, which is great. I got another one of these and another jerk bait. Tail first, like head first. No, that doesn't make sense. Oh, see? Interesting. Okay, so they are supposed to go, you're not supposed to put them in bill up. You gotta go bill down. So tail side drops in. That doesn't really make a lot of sense. Are these not designed for what I think they are? Like, it's not gonna hold that jerkbait in there. Maybe if no, but this seems like a lot of work. To do that? Okay, I guess it holds a 110 size in there. It's not gonna hold a bigger jerkbait in there though. The fact that I have to put these jerkbaits like on the middle hook just to hang them like that kind of feels like it's defeating the purpose, but I guess. Because that's the only way I can get them to, also from Yodi, Mega Bass Eye Loud. This is gonna be a Topwater, so I'm gonna make a Topwater box. We'll keep that to the side for now. So I think plan of action here is to go box by box and then hopefully make it to the other side of this. And then actually, little secret, you know how I chop all my baits, is I have a little bag of, they look fine, but I can't really fish them again. So I throw all of them in my little bag, and these are my baits that I chop in my videos. All right, so that's some glide baits, so let's keep that box to the side. Crankbaits, lipless baits, and blade baits in one box. I'm gonna do it I'm gonna call it like moving baits, so cranks, yeah, anything that you have to crank is gonna go in one box. So let's write on there. Yeah, that's like a huge plus. Look at that. See, right that. So that's gonna be lipless cranks, blades, and then also another reason why I really like trying to make sure I use the same companies or the same brands is that they always come with these dividers, and if you buy the same one, all the dividers are the same. But generally the way I'm gonna organize this, I'm not trying to not use too many of them, but the reason why I wanted to start with cranks is because I just looked over and I've got another bait that I bought. Oh, and a lot of these baits I'm buying off of Whatnot. Whatnot is a great place to find some great deals on baits, but also a horrible bait if you try to place, but also a horrible place if you're trying to save money. I buy so much stuff on Whatnot and I forget, and then it just shows up at my house. So it's kind of fun, but also I just spent a lot of money on that stuff. So this is one of those things. Actually, kind of excited to fish this. This is Shimano Macbeth. They're like big crankbaits, like just no rattles, almost clear. Will be great for that clear water. But I bought a few of these. So most people will put dividers. I find that just takes up so much space. So I'm just gonna put all the cranks as I can in one space. I don't have that many. Actually, this is gonna be a good time as well while I'm organizing all my gear to realize what I actually have and what I don't. And I'm gonna buy some new gear. I actually held off on buying gear so far when I went to all the fishing stores yet, because I wanna see what I actually have, because I always end up buying so much and then I like go through a tackle box, I'm like, oh, I've got some of those as well. So cranks that. So then, oh, all right. So this is one of the boxes that I had on the boat last year. This was my soft bait / utility box. I got some frogs. So I'm also, so then let's start a new box and we're gonna call it Topwater baits. That makes a really nice, that's probably just should be a box on its own. I'm gonna write down here, and then hopefully in like 6 months I'll get to fish these. Knowing Massachusetts, but all right, Topwater box. So we'll have the Topwater box ready. Oh man, this is always, every year, this is always such a daunting task. So now, and what's also great with these, I can take out, see, I can take out a box of them. So we got some frogs, so we'll put all the frogs together. I've got some soft body swim baits in here. These need to go in a separate box. Got some mini buzz baits, so that can be its own little category. I've got some baby mirrors. This is from that South Korean company I like. These are some mini glide baits. I should keep those out. People have been asking about doing a video on micro glides. Some more soft plastics that I get lazy and I throw in the box and I don't fish them ever. And I go to the next box. Another soft bodies, another, what's it called? Swim bait from Megabass. More swim baits. Gavacho frog, great frog. This is from Double H from Korea. These frogs are really good. This is a custom made from a guy in Maryland for snakehead. It's actually a snakehead frog. Got some jigs. I actually already have a separate jig box, so that will just go back in there. Throw away this trash while we can so we don't forget to. Some more Megabass sleeper gills. Always love these. And then again, another soft plastic that I left the hook in. So let's take the hook out and put that in the cut bag. Equally as bad as I am, I'm terrible about cutting off. I'm always terrible about cutting off my knots afterwards. So let's clip those off. That's a 3/0 size hook. I have to organize this hook box too because I got so much hooks in here. And of course, bullet sinker. All right, that's 2 of them organized. This is a Tornado Innovations clear umbrella rig, which I will probably use a lot. So we'll keep that to the side. Megabass Eye Loud, so this will go in the Topwater box too. It has a little like arm inside that that makes a rattling. It's just a Topwater wake bait, but so sick. That will go in there. Whole box of spinners, looks like, and jigs. So more jigs to put away, great. Spinner baits. Oh yeah, look at that. We got the whole spinner baits. All right, perfect. Ow, I just put a hook in my finger. Great, that hurt a lot. All right, back to the spinnerbait box. So these are 3/8, so let's try to keep the 3/8 together. Guggen spinnerbait. Actually, honestly, say what you want about Guggen, but the Guggen spinnerbait, I've caught a lot of fish on it. For the price range and just like, you know, people hate on Guggen a lot, but low key, don't be a hater, appreciate. They make good stuff. Screaming Eagle by Screaming Eagle. These are like my big spinner baits. War Eagle, Screaming Eagle. This trailer is on there. I didn't really like it. It didn't do me too good, so we'll take that off. That's probably a heavier one, but I do like their spinner baits for a bigger profile. Throw those in. That's probably heavier than 3/8. Mini jackhammers. Take those out. Oh, this is another spinner bait from Double H. That looks like, what is that? That looks like a 1/2 ounce. That's a big boy of a spinner bait. So we'll put that in here. Oh, and my actual favorite spinner baits are gonna be these. Megabass SV3. These are the best spinner baits. They're small and compact, like compared to those War Eagles, like those full profiles. It's so much smaller, just gets bit. And you don't even need a trailer on these, which is really great. The way they tie them, they have these extra plastic appendages. That becomes your trailer, so you just fish that as a trailer. Put those in. Oh, I actually got a good amount of spinner baits. I was actually gonna buy more. This is something I can't sell anymore, unfortunately. I wish I could, but these are the Aros chatterbaits. So the big thing with these is that they came in different blade sizes, and then you can literally take off the blades and swap them out for different sizes and colors. Z-Man hit me with a real quick lawsuit on that, so I had to stop selling them online, but I still have some for myself. That will go in a different box later. Dog X Diamante, yeah, love that. More spinner baits. These are also really great spinner baits. This is the OSP high pitcher. So between the Megabass SV3 and the high pitchers, I really like, these are my 2 favorite spinner baits. The high pitchers are a little harder to find here in the US nowadays, but if you can find them, so worth fishing. Such great spinner baits, seriously great spinner baits. And that is 1 box cleaned out, organized. Moving on, next box, the last box of these Ube Cube boxes. And this is gonna be a fun one. This is the hard bait box. So let's work this through one by one. Let's start with this. What do we got in here? Oh, we got some Topwaters, my favorites. I got some good old Pompadour Juniors. These are probably my favorite topwater baits. Crawlers are so fun. These smaller sizes get straight worked on all the time. And then I got some. This is probably not the way to do this, but hey, that worked. All right, some Shimano jerkbaits. These are really great. Then put these in here, great. One of the greatest topwaters of all time that no one talks about ever, Megabass Gong. Megabass Gong. They don't make these anymore, they discontinued them. And I have to fish a special Lunar New Year's edition that I got back in Korea, but I get so many bites on this thing. Topwater wake bait, gets the job done, always. Some more hooks on screw lock hooks, some Oze swimmers from Megabass. There's swim jigs that have a blade on the bottom. Great little option, that go into jig box. More jigs, more chatterbaits from Aros. See, this is what Z-Man got me on. They look like the chatterbait blade. They're chatterbait blades too much, and I had to stop selling them. We didn't think about where we're gonna put the spy bait, so let's keep that to the side for now, because I got more topwater walking baits. And honestly, if you're gonna buy a spook, just buy these. Heat On, the classic. These were just some topwater killers for me always. Guggen, actually, of the Guggen baits, this like Whopper Plopper they make was the blade here is actually not bad at all. This is the mini River to Sea Whopper Plopper. These are great little options. This is the KVD one, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Didn't like this one actually that much. It didn't walk as nice as I wish it would. These are some random crankbaits from this and that. This is a DT. This is a 5XD actually. 5XD Strike King Classic. This is a 6XD, even more deeper. I honestly don't know where I got this crankbait from, but we'll keep it to the side for now. Tiny little soft plastic on the paddle tail. That can come off. Put the plastic away, keep the hook. So this is something I saw online. This is a blade bait kind of super tune. So instead of having the hooks on the bottom where they're gonna get hung up, you put them on some string on top so that when you're fishing them, they're just kind of like assist hooks for like saltwater fishing. And it's a little less, it's just a little less snaggy. So this blade baits will go with the crankbaits. I forgot what these are called, but let me see. Griffins, yeah, the Megabass Griffins. If you ever want to get a small crankbait, these things are money. Red crankbait will be important for the spring. This is probably something really cool. This is a old Rebel popper. If you ever find one of these, it's a vintage, but it gets bit. So even as a, wait, let's get some light on that. Even as an older bait, that thing gets popped. I got it from a friend's dad a long time ago. It's like, I think it's wood actually, or maybe it's ABS, but this thing gets smoked. So I've learned with these Plano boards, you gotta put the middle hook on the top for them to fit nicely. So that just drops in right. Gonna take a little learning to do that, but throwing all my jerk baits into the box. I did not realize I bought so many spy baits. You've seen this box before. This is my jig box, and all those jigs I just pulled out of there. Time to reorganize the jigs that I got in here to things I actually use. And oh, another spinner bait that can pop in here. I also put my chatterbaits in here. So chatterbaits and swim jigs also go in here. So I need to figure out what I want to organize this as. And I also have, oh right, that is the jig box done. As you can see, like I've talked about it before, but when it comes to my jigs, very generally it's all the same color, dark greens, brown, maybe some black blue, and for swim jigs, some white for that baitfish color, but that's pretty much the jigs that I carry. It's a good amount of them, but now they're organized. I like this Edge jig box. This is probably my favorite jig box. It holds the head so everything is locked in there, it's not going anywhere. But another box done, lovely. Going through another random box of stuff that has been just sitting randomly. All right, so we've got some, I've got more Megabass sleeper gills. I really need to fish these more. They look so great. I just don't fish them as much as I thought I would. I got a bunch of these, more frogs. These will go in the Topwater box. I really hope these +1 size jerkbaits will fit in here. More spinnerbaits to add to the box. These are more Megabass SV3s that I like. This is a pink one. More Screaming Eagles. Jeez, that is bent out. All right, took a quick little break for lunch, but we're back. We're making good progress. Jig box is done. Topwater box is done-ish, and there's still a lot left. And we got to figure out, the big thing here is we got to figure out is I've got a lot. As you know, I love fishing a glide bait, which means I accumulate a lot of glide baits. So we got to figure out that. But before we do that, I think, actually, let's put these spy baits in here. The spy baits will fit nicely into this box. Water. Oh my goodness. We just saved that from going off the edge of the table. Great. All right, so next box is going to be Swimbait. As you saw, I have a whole bunch of them that I don't have space for, so we'll put Swimbaits, and also this will be like soft plastic Swimbaits, so small ones that I just always have on. And you know, I fish a lot of paddle tails, so this will be great to have a little space for the paddle tails. So first, gonna be all of our Mega Bass mag drafts, because who doesn't love a mag draft? Actually, I saw another one floating around somewhere. This is a mag draft. This is a well-fished mag draft. I fished the heck out of this one. Doesn't even have an eye anymore, but this clear color I really like. So we'll put that in there. Got all the little Mega Bass like dark sleepers and sleeper gills can go in. And then what I meant by soft plastic paddle tails are all of these. I always rig these up and I just don't take them off. But instead of ripping up a bunch of soft plastic paddle tails, we will just put them in here in this soft plastic box. I also got a whole bunch in this box, so got stuff that's rigged up, stuff that isn't. And the thing is, these smaller tackle boxes, I really like them for bank fishing because they're like a perfect size for my tackle boxes I carry around. So we'll keep those around. And actually, you know what? Because I have, so actually in that soft Swimbait bag, because I made it a mission this last winter, to become a big soft plastic fisherman. What I'm gonna do is actually see how many of these I can fit in here. So these ones can sit in here. I got a whole bunch of Huddlestons. Yeah, the Huddlestons will fit in there real nice. I got some Citizens. I'm super excited to fish these this year. But I think the Huddlestons will fit really nice in here as well. And then these Beast Coast Creeps are really exciting. It's much thinner profile. This perch color looks crazy. So actually I think the smaller Swimbaits can go in here, and then the bigger ones we'll have to keep in and find a separate box for. That, and then the Roma trout, super excited to fish. Soft Swimbait box, done. Topwater box, pretty much done. However, I do have this shelf over here that I need to clear out. I got a bunch of stuff still in packaging that needs to go away. This is from Boston Anglers. This is a 5-inch craw, just a big boy. Plus another Mega Bass paddle tail. So these will just drop right back in to the Swimbait box. More crankbaits in the packaging still. And throw these in. This is another Shimano Macbeth. I'm actually really excited. They're bigger, clear though, no rattle. So bigger presence, but not an only size. Not in color or nothing visual or vibration wise. Well, I guess it's a crankbait, so you'll hear it vibrate. But super excited. I got a yellow one and I got this big boy. I got a yellow one and the blue one for these. I actually should find a place for these blade baits because I was trying to fish some blade baits towards the end of the year. Not blade baits, flutter spoons. Throw those in there. Now here's the real question, is how we're gonna organize the big glides. Because I have a box of this box here. I actually should have ordered some more of these boxes. This is like a super deep, just open box, and I bought a bunch of wake baits from some great guys at the New England Fishing Expo. I got like a Psycho Gill from Lanzarote, super psyched to fish that. Got a rat from the man himself, Elude Bait, his zombie rat. And then see, I've got some glides sitting here. One of my favorite personal wake baits, a fish profile, Depth Silent Killer. Something I'm super excited to try this year is this. This is an MS Slammer. I had to ask Matt from Boston Anglers to help me find one of these. But the thing that runs true between all of these guys that make these really great topwater wakes is they all fish an MS Slammer. Their love for it came from one of these. So I really want to try one. And especially here in the north, everyone talks like this is the bait that everyone throws, size 2 treble hooks, because for me, I like smaller hooks on my bait if possible. If I can get away with smaller wakes, smaller hooks on my baits, I always will try to. But this will be my wake box. So let's make this a wake box. A great crawler from John John's Outdoor. And then another one from Ray Japan. Let's see if I can fit these all in here. If I can, that would be phenomenal. Oh, that's gonna barely fit. Yep. So, wake box. That's set. I've got a whole bunch of glides in here. I think we need to decide on which ones I'm gonna keep in here, and this is the one that'll come with me when I go fishing, because it's just a nice, I don't know what happened to this company. I haven't seen their stuff in a while, but it's called Lure Lock. So it's these tackle boxes that have this sticky material on the bottom, so you'd stick your baits to it, so you didn't have to use dividers, and it would just take everything and hold them. But I just want to kind of look at what we got in here and kind of decide what I will actually fish with this year and then what I won't fish with this year. This is a Aro's Groovy 8-inch. This is a big honking not a wake bait, a big honking glide bait, but also it has this met plastic piece that you can put in there to turn into a glide bait versus a swimming big swim bait. This is a TKO, so a Tiny Clash knockoff, but really decent little bait if you ask me. But I've got a real TK, and versus the real TK, quite honestly, I can't tell the difference. You couldn't tell me one was different from the other just by fishing it. And it's like, this real TK is like $100, and then the TKO is like 20. And then my favorite glide baits of all time are going to be these Double H Mirror. I caught so many. I'm starting to fish the paint off of this silver one, but the Mirror Junior, the smaller size. There's a bigger size that this is the original size. This is the big one, but I catch so many fish on this smaller size. This is such a perfect size for catching bass. So of course, got to bring some of those out. I got sent one of the, the Rexes, the small one from Max Fishing. Didn't fish as much as I wanted to last year, but I definitely should. And super excited to fish John John's. This is his new glide bait. This is the Working Man glide bait. Nice bluegill profile. Super excited to fish this year. And then on top of that, I've got some small glides. I like Gontrail, of course, like Swimbait category for bluegill season. Up here in New England, the bass love a bluegill, so. And then we got some big bluegill options here. So we got the Depths bull shooter, the big bull shooter. Then I have a but a special edition white bull shooter. This bull shooter junior, the smaller one, is really nice actually. Take that out. And then one of the best starter glide baits is going to be this Megabass Ice Slide. This is the R version that has a little bit more of a bend, so it gets a choppier cut, but great glide bait. Little tiny Depths bull shooter. But actually I'm thinking, so I have the bull shooter and then the Depths Ice Slide, the slide swimmer in like the really small sizes. I think these tiny ones, we should actually put them into a tackle box because they're like small enough to be like crankbait size. And of course I need to fish this. This might be a contender for not best, but like cheaper glide bait option for people to try out. So that's going in there. I want to bring the big Mirror out, but I really have not caught fish with it this year. But you know what? Who knows? And then a great, not really a glide bait, but a great crankbait option almost. Megabass Battalion. This is a smaller size. They crank really good, and you can fish them like a small crankbait, and you pause them and they cut real nice, and the bass will react to that. So great bluegill option. And then I have this Daiwa Gladical. This is really for bed fishing because if you see, it has like hook holes here. So actually I can move these hooks to the side. So when I'm bed fishing, you can hang a weight from the chin here, tie your line, and have this look like a bluegill eating bass eggs in a bed. And when the bass hits it from the side, you're gonna get that bass from it hitting the side of this bluegill. But this is really a specialized like bed fishing time of year bass bait. So we'll keep that out for now. So take the parts for that. We'll save some of these parts for these glide baits around. So glide bait box is done. I think that's pretty much about it. I think we're there. So, oh, actually, these smaller glide baits and swim baits, I'm actually gonna put them in the crankbait box because I guess they kind of fit in that range. You know, they're cranking baits as much as they are small glides. So we'll throw those in there so you have a home. And I still have one more tackle box free. So whatever this box may end up being, we'll have it ready. This is kind of how I organize things. You can kind of see the writing on here. Besides that, I know what this box is, I know what that box is just by looking at it. And I still have one more empty box available for whatever tackle may end up going. Besides that, I'm going to be also taking around this box from UbeCube because this is my terminal box. It's a great box for terminal. As you saw, the little containers make it super easy to take out a single box of stuff that I need. Makes it super easy to use on the water. For now, the hard baits, the boxes are all set for the fishing season. So hopefully this video has been helpful. If you have any questions about any of the baits you saw, if you have any ideas or recommendations for baits for me to try this year, leave them in the comment below. Share this with someone. Hopefully this is helpful in some way for motivating you at least to go organize your tackle before the season starts. But thanks again so much for watching. The hobbyist YouTube videos are coming in full force. I'm really sitting down and making sure I make some YouTube videos. TikTok, Instagram, if you follow me from there, thank you so much. Thanks so much for finding me here. If you've never seen me before, unless it's this video or on YouTube, I have a bunch of stuff on Instagram and TikTok, same name, hobbyist_fishing, where it's a lot more educational about bass fishing, everything you want to learn. But thanks for watching.